APTelecom was hired in December of last year to engage in the pre-sale efforts for Emerald across the Atlantic. There's a number of updates. Nick talked about some of the systems announced about a year ago, and I think it's only appropriate that I provide an update and a background in terms of what's happening from a grassroots perspective. All right, what is Emerald? Why is Emerald being built? What's the play here? It's been almost a decade since a system has been deployed across the Atlantic between North America and Western Europe. Emerald is aiming to be the lowest latent cable in terms of its speed between Long Island and the UK via Ireland. But in a nutshell, Emerald is planning on building across the Atlantic on the main nylon route between New York and London. They have a stub branch engineer going up to Iceland that obviously is trying to tap into the geothermal market. In the last 4.5, 5 months, the feedback that we hear from the carriers, and in particular the TAP 14 members, is this. TAP 14 certainly has issues, okay? There's no dancing around that. There are repeater issues, there's been multiple repairs, and it's created a tremendous amount of apprehension with regards to TAP and the future lifespan of TAP 14. So from an Emerald perspective, Emerald is repositioning themselves not so much as a low latent cable in terms of attacking the latency market, but to really come in as a de facto TAP 15 cable. TAP 14 is a struggling system, and from what we've been able to capture in the last 5 months of roughly $40 million in signed pre-sales, it's enabled Emerald to go contract in force. Emerald announced on March 15th that they are contract in force with their vendor Subcom, who's a US-built manufacturer. The technology is American, which gives certain carriers a comfort level as opposed to using other foreign entities to build the system. Now, how can we find ways to build this network as most cost-effective as possible? In order to provide the highest degree of probability to get the system in the water, the redesign was done to get out of Canada, where an aerial solution was taking it down into New York City, and we're actually now closer to New York itself. Going on the other end, the other change and update that is probably new to some folks is BU2. There's a stub BU going down this December to Portugal. That branch unit offers what we're calling onward connectivity into the Middle East. We believe that Emerald having the ability to take that traffic out of what we're calling the Iberia region and going into London or going into New York is advantageous to many operators because they have cable coming in and terminating the various systems that I mentioned. The system then provides a fairly unique opportunity for Iceland within the M50 to have edge drop capabilities. The system's landing in West Ireland, which is a new location. First time the system's going to be landed there, and there's the hope that that data center market will be able to build up within Ireland specifically. Why build now? We talked a little bit about TAP and TAP 14. Many of the systems on the Atlantic are certainly aging. They're adding more capacity, more throughput, but that doesn't make the system more modern. You can make the case in point that as the systems are aging, there's more systematic risk for the operators that are running mesh topology on the systems. And I think that's one of the reasons that the pre-sales have actually been fairly strong on Emerald in the last 3 or 4 months. The key takeaway that we want to leave from an Emerald perspective is that we're looking for commitments based on pricing that is on par, or roughly on par with what TAP 14 is out in the market today. However, Emerald is providing the carrier community the flexibility to call down that capacity. So for example, if you took, let's say, 20 wavelengths, 20 linear 10Gs, you're not expected to activate that on day one. We're reasonable. We understand that you need time to manage your network, to plan for your inventory. You may be hedging against how much time TAP 14 is going to go. Some of your other systems, you may be running managed bandwidth leases. You may be able to roll that over to Emerald depending on network performance. So we're providing a call-down schedule for the buyers to be able to hedge against their forecast of demand versus the need for supply. The carrier community has been the largest uptaker of the ability to project Emerald forward. We've been very happy with the TAT-14 members taking down capacity on Emerald in the form of pre-sales. They're forward buying. The high-frequency trading network folks have purchased from us on the Emerald system. We're certainly happy that they see us as a potential option of being low latent. Building a system across the Atlantic that's predicated on only a low latency cable play is certainly a challenge. Emerald is experiencing a lot of turbulence just building with three components: the carrier community, the frequency trading network folks, and the data center play in Ireland and Iceland. And that in itself is challenging. That's a diversified approach to the market, going after all three. It is certainly, from a network perspective, advantageous to have low latency, but it's not the biggest thing that we're hearing when we talk to buyers. They want a fairly conservative route across the banks as they leave the United States. They're not looking for something that's overly aggressive, that's going to be down every other week. We believe that this route right here is a unique triangle. Ireland, Iceland, back to the US and New York is going to be able to provide an option with total cost of ownership, enabling a lot of the carrier community to go in there and package up network, hosting, as well as content. It's certainly not a easy time to build a system. The Atlantic certainly has a stigma based on what happened in 99, 2000, 2001, after Y2K and the dot-com bubble burst. But we are certainly seeing much more demand from the carrier community being concerned about TAT-14. And if Emerald fills that role as a de facto TAT-15 system as part of our carrier strategy, that's okay with us. We're confident that the system will get built.